fussing with it, but he's just saying, hey, this is, tell him that it's human nature, And then Quincy and Rod discover the song by accident.
I gotta talk about how much they elevate it. Quincy has this guy, John Bettis, write the verse lyrics, just elevates the song. He puts this Lukather guitar part on there that I never thought of in a million years, that just elevated the song. Having Bruce Swedeen mix it just took it to a place that I had no idea it ever had the ability to go.
But that right there, that is the definitive role of a great producer, right? Elevation is the people write great songs. If they're not well produced, they don't reach the potential they might have. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great song. I think it would stand the test of time if it was played and sung by one person with an acoustic guitar. It would be a great song. But after Quincy was done with it, it was a masterpiece. And I was going to talk about Thriller a little later, but let's talk about Human Nature for a minute. I mean, Steve, how did that come about?
Yeah, and let's not forget right away Michael Jackson and the vocal performance he did, which, this was just, I was standing there next to him in the room, and just how much he elevated the song, and what he brought to the table is I can never tell you. What would you like to know?
Anything you want to tell us about the recording process, about how it was built, about anything you want to tell me, period. But I'm thinking how it went from that demo to the stages it went through to get to where it ended up.
Quincy, what was great about Quincy again was, believe me, I think he liked finding this piece of sand that he saw some potential in and could turn into a pearl. And to his credit, though, he kept what he liked about my demo. He liked the atmosphere. That's right. He loved the atmosphere, which is what I was all about. It was, they were not looking for a mid-tempo ballad. He loved the atmosphere of it, and he kept that by letting me recreate as much of my demo as he wanted me to. But then, like I said, he just took it to a whole nother level. He took it to a whole nother level that blew my mind, If I was there when they were doing that Lukather guitar part, I would have said, no way, you're ruining my baby, you know what I mean? And 40 million records later, I saw the wisdom in it,
Better late than never,
I came around, what I'm saying?
But the thing about it is this song to me is like a miracle, because back in the day, if anybody remembers cassette tapes, also they had these cassette players that would, once it got to the end of that side, with 45 minutes later, it would automatically reverse and start to play the other side. So, first of all, Quincy's office was literally floor-to-ceiling envelopes that people sent him songs to record. So, you'd go in there and it just floor-to-ceiling. No way he could listen. But Steve and I think Page had written a couple songs for Michael.
He was asking Page. He was asking David Page for songs.
Yeah, so they sent a couple songs over, but when they were sending the songs over, Steve had recorded this on a cassette, and so they just fast forwarded the cassette.
Oh, sorry, no, I can't believe I know this story, but the fact is, they were at the house. It was Quincy and Rod, and they were listening to all those tapes that you talked about, right? They were, on the floor. They were on the floor, lying down, almost asleep, and they were listening to all kinds of stuff. And as you said, the thing is playing, and then it automatically switched.
The two songs that got submitted had already gone past, and they didn't get a response.
No, they just, right? All of a sudden the thing clicks over, right? And all of a sudden you hear, That's what happened. And when they heard that, and they woke up and said, hey, what is that? And then they went, hey, I think we're on to something. And that's how that happened.
So the miracle is, if this tape machine didn't have auto reverse, we wouldn't have this conversation today. Which is really true.
Wow. And if they hadn't fallen asleep listening to this first side, I never know.
And even these guys who submitted here's a couple songs we want to submit to Michael. You know, that didn't, but it just happened that you guys were looking for a tape. Oh, use this old tape and just fast forward.
Yeah.
Well, we'd run out of cassette tapes. You know, we had these custom-made, like, you know, they were only like 10 minutes long, so they'd only hold a couple songs. They'd hold a couple songs. So I had just done a mix of Human Nature as it stood then. And then Paige called down. He says, remember those 2 tunes we did last night? Quincy's assistant was on the way to pick them up. He goes, you know, run me a quick mix on those. And so I just quickly, I saw that was the last, I used the last cassette. So I just turned it over, rewound it, relabeled it, and put David's 2 songs on there. On the A side. Yeah.
And David was cool with this in the end, right?
What's that?
David was cool with this in the end.
He told me the next day I'm in the studio, and David comes walking in. He goes, I just got off the phone with Quincy. He goes, he was going on for like a half an hour about this Why song. He goes, I finally said to him, I think you're talking about one of Steve's songs. He thought it was Paige's.
Oops.
Greg, you didn't play. Did you play on Human Nature?
Oh no, they didn't need me.
They had someone else, right?
They didn't need me for that. That's all.
Greg did the keyboards on did the basic Rhodes part on every single song on Thriller. You know.
Well, I was looking at and listen, we all know the internet is, of course, as we all know, the greatest thing to ever happen to the music industry, and also the worst thing to ever happen to the music industry. But I was trying to do some research to check credits, and maybe it was correct, because it said that you played on every song on Thriller, except Human Nature.
I think so.
That's... He played on it 100 million copies, that album sold. Oh, is there a disagreement? Did he play on...
Well, no, Steve was saying that he seems to remember me getting to do a pass at it, but I really don't. I don't remember, you know, trying that at all. I remember hearing it, but I don't remember working on it.
I think your career is not diminished by a grain of sand, if the internet is correct on that. So,
But isn't it true that your original keyboard part ended up on the record?
Yes.
And that wasn't for lack of them trying to recreate it, right?
Yeah. No, we recreated it in the studio with the same exact instruments.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We recreated it all.
but again, isn't that the genius of a great producer? Because they don't have to say, I can do it different, I can do it better. What they're saying is, this right here, I'm saying this is perfect. So I think we've all worked at some stage with